Be blessed by the divine. Be blessed by the divine. On behalf of Sky Yoga Online English Meditation Group, I am G.K. Bharati welcoming you all to today's special program. Week after week, we are enjoying Vethathiri speeches from different Sky professors. Today also, we are going to enjoy one such special lecture from Professor Senthil Rathinasamy of Virginia, USA. He is an engineer by profession, working as consulting manager with one of the big 4 global consulting firms in the world. He is into Sky Yoga since the year 2004. He was always exploring as to what he can do to improve himself. He had a lot of questions such as, why do some people do things easily while others struggle? What is the source of happiness? And so on. Attracted by the simplicity of Sky Yoga, he has joined Sky Yoga, and presently he is practicing it and also serving the people in and around Virginia, USA. The topic he is going to speak today is, can I have a worry-free mind? Welcome, Professor Senthil Rathinasamy. We are all eagerly awaiting to hear your lecture. Over to you, Senthil Rathinasamy. Be blessed by the divine.
வாழ்க வளமுடன். Amma, can I share my screen? And
yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes, you can.
All right. It says host disabled participants screen sharing. Can you give me the leader access? Yeah. Let me try that.
You can share your. If you have got PowerPoint, you can share it, sir.
Okay. I have actually joined from 2 IDs. If you don't mind, can you give the leadership power to the other ID?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, just a minute, sir. I will just ask the.
Okay, okay. No problem. Okay. Can someone confirm? You can see my screen.
Yes, yes. Yes, sir, you can proceed.
Okay.
We are able to see it. Yes.
Are you able to see my video also?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, give me 1 second. All right. வாழ்க வளமுடன். Thank you for joining this wonderful morning for me, and some of you are joining from India. Good evening to you. First of all, I want to congratulate some of the new participants today. The reason for congratulations is, look at your where you are right now, right? If you compare your neighbors, not for comparison purposes, but you could be doing anything else on a Saturday morning or a Saturday evening, right? But you have chosen to be here because you are in the process of seeking something, right? You don't want to do the regular people, whatever they are doing on a Saturday morning or evening. You are thinking, okay, I want to be part of this class or meditation. I want to be thinking what else I can do differently. So for that thinking, I salute you and I really welcome you. Thank you for joining. Right now, let's come to the title. And before we get into the title, let's seek blessings from our Guru, Sri Vethathiri Maharishi, and also all the Gurus that have helped us to be where we are right now. Be blessed by the Divine. All right, so we have a topic today. Can I have a worry-free mind? Right? You might be wondering why the title itself is a question, right? But the answer is in the question itself, right? Maharishi wants us to ask questions. Ask the right questions. You may get the answer at some point. So that's where the whole presentation won't be a direct lecture. It will be a question, and then we'll try to explore answers for those questions together and see how our personal lives can connect to this topic, right? So now let's come to the deep roots of this topic, right? Can I have a worry-free mind? Everybody in the whole world is asking that question, right? The world already thinks, they have an answer for this, right? They give a lot of ideas. They have suggestions. They say do this, do that, or take a medicine. You will not have any worries, or just go have this habit. You will not worry anymore. So they have all the answers. But still, are we really having a worry-free mind? We got to think about that, right? Now, let's come a little deeper, come close to where our society is right now, right? If we ask a person who's looking for a job, right? He's always worried. Now, when we go and ask him, "Oh, I've attended, 10 interviews. I haven't found a job. I'm so worried. But once I get a job, I'm going to have a peaceful life, happy life," right? Is that really the situation? Now, let's go to the other side. People who have jobs, who have work every day. So they must be happy according to the people who do not have jobs. So now if we ask the people who have jobs, are they happy? No, differently or strangely, they are looking for a Saturday or a Sunday. They are just saying, okay, today is the day I can be peaceful and I can be happy because I have no work. So what is this confusion? So where is the happiness and where do we start worrying, right? The same can apply to any age, any person, any country, any circumstance. We can always put people who are not married, who are married, or people who are not married happy, or people who are married, they are happy, right? Or people have children, people don't have children. People are in some part of the world, see, people are in other part of the world. Are they really happy? Because because let's answer that question. Okay, first of all, everybody is struggling with this question. Everybody wants to be happy. Then why are they not having found, okay, these are the things I need to do so that I can be happy, right? That's where the worry starts, right? You want to be happy. You probably know what all you need to do to become happy, but you're not accepting the path, or you're not fully understanding the path where what will give me happiness, right? So that's where the worry starts, right? You want to be somewhere, but you're here. Either you don't know the path to get there, or you know the path and you think, no, it's so difficult. It's only for certain people. I cannot get there. So you are in a conflicting mind, right? So in summary, you're at some place and you want to be in a different place and you think that's what is happiness, but you're not able to get to that spot, right? So let's explore a little more details, and we'll talk about some um, common questions that we might want to ask ourselves, and then let's see if we can find answers to those questions. Okay. All right. So feel free to hold on your questions if you have any personal life related questions. But if you have any clarifications you need to ask on the topic or the slide, please feel free to stop me anytime. Okay. All right. Let's move on to the next. Let's quickly cover, and I think we know this. Everybody knows this. Let's quickly cover what are the ill effects of worrying, right? So what does this mean? Because of worrying, what do I get? What happens to my mind if I worry? Right? We may have experienced it in various stages of our life, but I'm trying to just summarize. Just let's quickly cover it, right? If you are worried about certain things, what happens? Our body and mind gets disturbed in many ways, right? First of all, if you are worried about something, your confidence, your energy, your enthusiasm, right this moment, that gets weakened, right? You cannot really spend your full focus on wherever you are. You are in school, you are in college, you are in work, you are at home with the family. If you are worried about something else, you are not yourself, right? Your original enthusiasm, your energy is getting sucked away, right? And then if the clarity of thinking, right, you normally you're good at something, right? It could be a subject or taking care of a kid, or you're a kind person to neighbors and friends, but because you're worried you cannot be yourself. You can be disturbed, and somebody wants your attention, you're not able to give completely, right? All of us must have experienced this at some point in life, right? And then eventually, if the worry becomes too long, let's say it stays with your mind for too long, we get so frustrated. We get angry at the normal times, right? If you're worried about your work, then you're angry at home. Let's say you're worried about some problem at home, then you're angry the whole day, frustrated the whole day. That affects your work, right? And then eventually it can affect the way we look at life itself, right? And it is a proven fact, and there is no dispute that this worrying eventually hurts our physical health. No question about it. Physical health is tightly connected with our mental health. And if you are worried, the mental health is disturbed, then that eventually affects our physical health. Okay. And then let's cover the other points, that staying in the presence becomes difficult. I'm sure we experience this in some part of our life in the past, or maybe we are feeling it every day, right? You are in school, your college, your teacher is explaining something very important, but your mind is somewhere else, right? Either it is gone into the past, or it is gone into the future, right? We'll talk about that in detail. When we say past, maybe something happened at home, something happened a couple of years ago. You're worried about it, whatever, you're dragged into the past, right? Or you're worried about the future. You're worried about the exam that is coming next week, or you're worried about some activity that is planned, which is not yet happened. But you're not in the present moment. So that means you are not living the life wherever you are, right? And then unable to appreciate what we are blessed with. That's true. When you are not in the presence, right? In the presence means, we have heard presence of mind. You don't have presence of mind, right? He's an absent-minded person, right? We have heard about that. And that what it does to your life, you do not enjoy the present time. Yeah, you are in a wedding, you're just at home playing with your friends, or maybe playing with your own kids. But if you're worried, that you're not fully there, right? And then just we'll ask one last question here. Is there any single good benefit that comes out of worrying? Worrying does not give any good results. Now, people might be asking questions. Sir, I have this problem. How can I be not worried? Right? I have this problem. Okay, we'll talk in little more details there. Okay. So, okay, let's see. My screen is moving. All right. Okay. Oops. All right. When do we worry? Right? When do we worry means we are trying to really go a little deeper. Why? When exactly the worry starts to come? Right? So we'll cover very quickly some of the circumstances that causes us to worry, right? So we talked about what are the ill effects of worries, and we want to really understand, like, when do we worry? Like, why? Where is it coming from, right? When everybody's nature is to look forward to pleasure and peaceful and happy, and I want to have fun. Like, why? What is really stopping us? Like, what causes us to worry, right? When do we start to worrying? Okay. So the simple summarized way that Maharishi indicates, Maharishi has done a lot of research, and if you have time at the end, I will tell you an interesting story that made Maharishi start thinking in this direction, right? If you have time, we'll talk about that. But just a summary of when do we worry, right? If there is a difference, and if we think there is a difference between what we need and what we have, right? Or if we desire something, and we talked about it briefly, right? I want to be there. I want to get promoted. I want to get my daughter married or son married. I want to build a new home. No, I want to go to America. I want to go to this place. So those are all desires. But then other side, we think, no, I don't have the money, or I don't have the power. I'm not that educated, or I don't have the support to really get to where I want to get to, right? So where we want to be, where we are, and we don't know how to get to that spot, right? That difference, that will cause worries. Now, the third point is our opinion and our opinion of the people who matter to us. And this happens every day at our home, right? If you're a husband, you have an opinion. If you're a wife, you have an opinion. You're a kid, you have an opinion. But there is so much differences, right? Now, we are so strong in our opinion, but we are not able to change our opinion because we feel strong about it. Now, our own loved ones, they have a different opinion, but we love them, but we don't love that opinion. So we want to change them, saying, hey, listen to me, this is the right way to think, change your opinion, but they are so strong about it. So you're not able to really work with, you love them, but you don't want to take that opinion, right? There is a conflict. So that causes worries, right? And the other point is expectations with reality, right? What we expect out of our whole life, either individually or as a family or as a growth in your family or a lifestyle, you have some expectations, but that's not happening. You expect certain things to happen at certain time, but the nature or the society or the whole world is running on a different clock, right? That happens to everybody's family. So that causes worries too, right? And I want to just highlight that one particular word, that the thought, meaning it doesn't matter whether you are here or you want to be here, or what you have and what you need are different. It doesn't matter what is the reality. The idea that the thinking that, oh, I don't have enough or I am not there, the thinking, that is what is causing the worry. And I'll give you a quick example, right? Let's say you went to a jewelry store in India, right? We all buy a lot of jewelries, valuables, right? So let's say you bought a jewelry which you loved it, you've been thinking of buying it for a long time, right? And you bought it, came home, you're happy, um, you're just at the top of the world. This is what you wanted, you got it. But let's say the next day morning, you're showing it to your neighbor. And she comes and says, oh, sister, did you buy this one? This is an old design. I had this like 2 years ago, and it was actually, going bad. Like it was getting darkened if you put just a little bit in the sun and all, right? So it gets a little spoiled pretty soon. Whatever comment, or no, maybe it doesn't suit your neck, whatever, right? Just that one comment, whatever happiness that you had the previous day, it's all getting drained off, right? And this can apply to anybody, any country, any circumstance, any age, everywhere this can happen. So what happened? So the moment you think you did not get what is the right um, item that should have given you happiness, the moment you think about it, the moment you hear about it, your mind catches onto that, then you start worrying. Oh, I got the wrong one. Maybe I should have thought about it a little bit more, right? So we should identify the thought of where we are, what we think is happening, and then what should have happened or what should be happening. The thought, there is a difference between these two. We will stop worrying, right? And there are a few other points. So let's say if you have a real, let's say, achievable goal, and let's say either it is a physical challenge or a mental challenge, and then if it is so difficult to really follow through the process, let's say daily practices, daily exercises, daily mental practices, and if you are not able to really manage that expectations, okay, you have to do this practice for next 3 months, and then write an exam, then you clear it, then you'll just move over to the next level, right? But if you're not able to physically or mentally able to take the challenge, then we'll start worrying that we are not prepared. So sometimes it could be lack of skills or lack of self-confidence. That is much more stronger reason, right? Most often the people might have the skills, but they lack the self confidence, right? They might be extremely intelligent, extremely knowledgeable, extremely qualified, skilled to do a certain job, but they don't have the confidence to really come up and say, okay, I will do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to complete this. Then the whole knowledge, skill set, the experience that you have gained, everything is of no use if you don't have the confidence, right? So that also causes worries, right? I am super qualified. I'm not getting that promotion. I am so skilled. I've worked my the whole body and mind for this particular project, but somebody else is getting the credit. Why? We'll start worrying. Okay. And very quickly, the modern society, right? It calls this worrying in two different ways, right? One is a depression. The other one is anxiety. The depression is basically if you are dwelling in the past, whatever something happened yesterday, last year, 10 years ago, childhood, when I was there, whatever happened, if that is dragging your attention, if you're dwelling into that past incident, then the modern science of society calls it depression. Now, anxiety is the other type of worry that the current society is calling it. Anxiety is you are worried about something that may not happen or that might happen. You're worried about the exams that is coming in 2 weeks or 3 months, or you're worried about my daughter's marriage that's going to happen. I don't have money, I don't have resources. What will happen in 3 months? Or what will, so I'm going for a blood test or a health test next week. What is going to happen? I don't know what the doctor is going to say. The things have not happened yet, but we still worry about it, right? That's called anxiety. Sometimes working people, we need to make a presentation this coming Monday, or let's say in 3 days, right? We'll start worrying from now. How am I going to prepare? How am I going to present it? How am I going to get all the details? So we'll start worrying about it, right? The thing that did not happen, we worry about it. That is anxiety. Okay. All right, let's get to a little more deeper. So here is where Maharishi's deep thinking and research is coming to our understanding and help, right? So we are trying to identify why do we worry, right? The root causes of worrying. Now, in all these examples, whatever examples we have seen in the last couple of slides, the biggest understanding, if we really go back to those, is our identity. Our identity as a individual. We think our wants, needs, our skills, our efforts is doing all the things around us, right? And so let's say I want this, right? I need this. I am good at it. I have to do it, right? I have to protect it, or I am the one who's doing it. Like when we start thinking about I am running my world, right? Then this automatically causes internally the worry, the reasons for worries, right? So when you say I want it, then automatically if you don't get it, then you're going to get worried, right? So now the second one is mind, right? When we have the properties, the relationships, the objects, when we start saying this is all mine, I have to get this and this is going to be mine, automatically you are worried about acquiring that, you are worried about protecting it, then you are worried what will happen if it goes away from me, right? So the more you hold on to objects and people and all the natural resources at your home or around your life, the more you hold on to it as mine, it is going to put the baseline for worrying about them, right? Now, second major reason is your sin imprints, habits meaning right from your childhood or right from your family or societal circumstances, you've been coming through certain habits. For example, um, let's say you're grown with not facing too many problems in your childhood, right? So let's say you're not ready for a strong or complex problems around you in the childhood. Then when you grow up, you don't have the ability, you don't have the efficiency, you don't have the courage to face bigger problems. So that is because of how your exposure, how your living style, or how your society, or how environment around you have brought you up, right? Maybe it's not your fault at all. Then hereditary, right? So hereditary, so we know our physical features, right? Our physical features are coming from our ancestral parents, right? Somebody can have eyes like the grandfather, nose like the grandmother, some habits like the smiling or the anger from the previous generations, right? Those are all physical or obvious hereditary transmission of qualities, right? Likewise, there is also internal or mind activity related or the mind related hereditary transmission. So your grandfather always gets angry very quickly. There is a likelihood that you also get that habit, or your son gets a habit, or your daughter gets a habit. Right? So again, it can come from the hereditary transmission. And the last thing is illusion, right? Now, because of all these sin imprints and all the way that we have lived our life so far, right? We always are not clean in our mind, right? We are coming with a lot of identity related actions that happened in the past. Then we have the influence of sin imprints. Now, collectively, they all give you a lack of clarity, or they keep you in some kind of maya or illusion, right? So you're not yourself. You're not behaving with your full potential, full brain activity, or full level of clarity of thinking in any action that you do. So you're on a different mindset at various times. That illusion causes worries. Okay, let's move on to the next. Okay. Okay. All right. So now that we have taken a deep look at how the worries are formed, what kind of ill effects from worries, let's take a look at how do we manage our worries? How do we get out of worries, right? So now this is something Maharishi has done years and years of research. He has broken down ways and means to really manage our worries. So let's look at them as a day-to-day practice. And I have a few more minutes if you have. Then we'll go to talk about how do we manage the habit of worry, right? We always need to take care of the problems that cause worries right now. Then we also really can think about, like, why do I worry? Like, I don't want to worry anymore, right? People people are put in the same circumstances. They are not worried about it. Why am I worried about the same thing, right? So we'll talk about that in just a few minutes. But let's talk about how do we manage worries that we have right now that is bothering us. Okay, we all have worries or problems. Let's change the words a little bit. We all have problems, But do everybody worry? No, right? And that's something, if you really closely observe, you will know. Somebody might be in the exact same spot as you, in whichever way you think. Your age, your, let's say, the resources or the money that you have. Maybe you're married, he's married, or she's married. They have the same level of lifestyle. But one person can worry about what they don't have. The other person might think about, oh, I have all the things that I have, right? So it's not all about, so it's not about what you have or what you don't have, right? The moment you think about what all things that you don't have, probably you start worrying about it, right? And again, going back to the initial point we talked about, right? You are here and you're also missing, or you're always thinking about, oh, I should have been here, I should have this much saving by now, or I should have done this for my kid by now, or I should have done this in my career by now, right? You're thinking about some other place or some other um, point in life. And if you think about that, I'm not there, that's when the worry starts, right? So let's see some of the practical ways how we can manage our worries, and which Maharishi has given as very, very, very simple ways to tackle them, right? So if you have worries, right, sit in a quiet place, find a time and place where you can sit and spend for yourself without external disturbances. Just take a paper and pen and just write down. Just list down, first of all, right? These are the things I'm worried about. Okay. Depending on your age, depending on your location, depending on wherever you are, you might come up with, let's say, these are my top 5 worries that bother me every single day, right? List down. Now, Maharishi is suggesting that we discuss or deep dive on them, and try to really put them in a categorized way. How is he suggesting, right? So these are the 4 buckets we need to really think those each and every problem that we listed down, right? We take one problem, say, is this a problem that cannot be solved or need to be faced? Can I solve this problem? Do I have the resources to solve the problem? Do I have a role in that problem, right? We cannot take a societal problem and say I'm going to solve it. Until I solve it, it is going to be a worry in my mind, right? So we have to understand how that problem relates to us. How are we going to contribute to solving that problem, right? So can the problem be resolved, or it cannot be resolved? Then I need to face it, right? So good examples is, let's say we have a chronic illness for a family member, right? Is there any point in worrying about it, right? We have the responsibility to be part of that, support that person, give necessary care, take the medical help we need. That activity is there. So that there is no exception. We have to be part of that activity. But is there any point in worrying about it, right? That's what I'm talking about. So the worry part, there is no point in worrying about it, because that is a problem that I cannot solve right away, right? We cannot erase that problem out of our mind. Now I know my role in that problem, so I can start helping in whichever way I can, depending on the type of problem, depending on my role, my capability. I'm going to contribute. But take that worry out of our mind, right? So take another problem. Let's see, some problems need to be ignored. Some problem might be bothering us every day or every now and then, right? Some people, we have to identify and say, okay, you know what? This is happening. I cannot totally solve it. So I'm going to start ignoring it from today. Okay. And I've just given a couple of examples. Troubles with neighbors, right? Neighbor, sometimes we have, let's say they're dumping their garbage in a place where, you're not desiring that to be. Try to have that conversation, try to see if we can find an amicable way. And let's say if it's not really bothering you or your family member, we don't have to worry about correcting that person. Let's say you're managing your garbage, you're putting it in a bag and giving it to the government scavenging vehicle. You're doing a great job, but the other neighbor is dumping in a public place, right? I understand we try to solve that problem because it's a problem for the society. But if the other person is not of that listening type, or he doesn't have that respect and trust with you, we are not here to solve that problem. We cannot get into quarrels and then worry about it and let it pressurize our mind, right? So those kind of problems, we take our steps, we inform, or we bring it to their attention. We just say we don't want to worry about it, right? Similarly, elderly people at home, right? Our let's say grandparents or in-laws, they have certain way of living their life. The entire life they've lived like that. They expect the house should be in order, the kitchen should be in order, the why people are doing this, why people are not doing this. They have certain way of doing, expectations. Can we really go taking all the advice and criticism too deeply and then feel bad about it? No. So we just show them respect and just try to ignore such problems. Okay. And then let's talk about other category of problems where we can just put our problem into that bucket. Problems that could be postponed. And this will be most likely a common reason, right? We worry about something that did not happen yet, right? We always think about the future. Okay, I'm going to go for a medical test sometime. I know I've not been doing good. The doctor warned me that I should be walking, I should be reducing my food intake or non-vegetarian food and stuff. I was not really doing great, but then the doctor is going to be really upset and I'm going to have more problems. So we are worrying about something that did not happen, right? So we have to identify, is there any point in worrying about it? Okay. So we're going to meet the doctor. He's going to give additional instructions. Okay. All right. So far, I've done not so good. Maybe I did okay. I didn't really follow all the instructions. Okay. Going forward, I'm going to be a changed person, right? I'm going to do a little bit more than what I was doing so far, right? I was not walking so far, but maybe it's a good idea. I'll start that habit, right? So you come to that mental compromise, then that problem that I was not doing okay or I was not following instructions, that worry will not bother us anymore. As long as you take an action, you accept, yes, that used to be the situation. Now I'm going to change my habits a little bit, right? That puts the worries away from us, right? And then the last one is problem should be resolved immediately, right? That we have to identify. If something, for example, if there is a serious issue that we need to take care of, let's say medical issue that needs to go through surgery or something like that, then we we quickly target that. We just plan for it. Again, worrying is not a solution. Thinking about how I can resolve that issue. Okay, we set up a, let's say, a doctor appointment, or how do we really get that done? that action, you get into action, you don't have time to worry about it, right? Have you seen that in the past? If the worries come only when you are in the inaction mode or inactive mode, you have a problem, either you don't know how to resolve it, or you know how to resolve it, but you're not equipped, you're not skilled, you're not ready to act on it, but you know the problem. That's the place where worries start to form. But the moment you start a single step towards resolution, right? You start, okay, these are the steps, 10 steps for my problem solving. Okay, I'm taking one step at a time. Okay, take one step at a time. Okay, I'm going to develop my skill set. Oh, I'm going to start just taking care of my physical health first. I'm going to start walking from today. I'm going to do pranayama from today. Right? You take one step, think about what changes in your mind and body. The worrying starts immediately coming down, right? The worrying happens only when you're not accepting the problem or not taking action on the problem. Think about that. Okay. All right. We covered. And as far as the problems stay within the family or within the close relatives or relationships, patience, adjustment, and sacrifice. I think all our ancestors, all the elderly people might have already given this advice to us. So we can talk about in each of them why it is important, but let's cover the other slide. And then if you have time, we'll come back and see more examples where patients can easily help us get away from worries or adjustments between the close people who matter to us, that a slight adjustment in certain examples, certain circumstances, you make slight adjustment that can totally take care of our worries or their worries also. You can solve the problems in just a small steps. And then finally, sacrifice. Again, if we want to live life with those close family members, sacrifice is part of our commitment, and it doesn't really cause any harm to you or the relationship by giving up certain wish or certain opinion, certain um, expectations. Correct. All right. If you have time, I would like us to cover. So we talked about how can we eradicate worries. So if you have currently list of worries, do this, list it down, try to see if you can put it in those 4 buckets. And how do we address them? Okay, now problems should be resolved immediately. Obviously, we'll take that first. Think about what actions we need to take. We build our resources, we ask for help, whatever we need to do, try to resolve that, right? And then the remaining buckets automatically give you clarity on what is the next immediate problem that I need to resolve. Okay. All right. So next, if you have time, I want to cover one additional topic, meaning one additional question. And if you noticed all these titles of the slides, they're all questions, right? Some of the questions we are answering, and we should ask more questions. Give me 1 second. Why is it not moving? Okay, all right. So I want to quickly cover, if we can, how do we change the habit of worrying, right? So in the previous slide, we took care of some of the problems that we have currently. How do we address them quickly or with the strategy? How do we address worrying, the worries, right? So now we are talking about the whole habit of worrying, right? How can we change it? And like I was telling in another example, right? We have similar circumstances. Some person worries, some person doesn't worry. And we have seen in probably in colleges and schools and stuff, right? We might be worrying about, oh, you know what? I was expecting 80 percentage and I got only 73 percentage. I'm so upset and I'm worried. And you look to the left or look to the right, people with 60% mark, they are like, wow, I was thinking I was about to get pass mark, but now 60 marks, I'm super happy, right? So the point is not about comparing you with the other person. The point we need to worry about is 73 marks is giving us worries. 60 marks is giving somebody happiness. What is happening, right? So we don't have to answer that question right now, but we just have to have that question in our mind. Why does all people in around us or all people we know, do they all have whatever we have and then they are still happy, or are they worried? Do they have, first of all, what are we blessed with, right? So we have to think in a holistic way. Is that really our life is so under blessed, right? We need to think about, do we really are we spending enough time enjoying what we already have, or are we really worried unnecessarily? Okay, so let's talk a few points in a little more detail. I hope I have time. And then we'll spend a little bit time on questions you
Sir,
may
excuse
have.
me, sir.
Okay. Yeah.
Actually, our time is only up to 7:30. So
Okay.
can we take 1 or 2 minutes more and we will conclude, please.
Okay. Perfect. No, thank you. Thank you for letting me know. Perfect. So how do we change the habit of worrying, right? First of all, I want to give a quick pointers here. Problems will always be there, right? Problems will always be there for anybody, anywhere, any age, any circumstance, problems will be there. But worrying about them is in our hands. We have to think about it. Now, we are not saying going away from the responsibility is the only way to be happy. No. If your work is stressful, oh, don't go to work, you'll be happy. No, you won't be. Right? We talked about that actually. Jobless people are as worried as people with jobs. Okay. Secondly, there are some practices, consistent practices that will help us change the habit of worry. Okay. And number one is meditation. And you're all here. That means you're all exploring what we need to do to improve our life, right? You have started doing sky meditation. Some of you are initiated. Some of you are in the process of doing it. I welcome you. Please probe in that path. You will see changes very soon, right? Start meditating every day consistently, as much you can, right? As much according to your circumstances. Meditation and introspection. Introspection is a huge topic again. So if you have a long disturbing habit, oh, this is a habit that I really need to change, then introspection helps. Introspection helps you understand how your body and mind works. Most of the time, the how the mind works and how the habits are helping you or putting you in trouble, and then slowly take different steps to really manage how to transform. Thank you. With this, I kind of pause right now, and if there are any questions, maybe we can talk in a little more detail. Thank you, Emma.
Thank you very much, sir. Be blessed by the divine. It's indeed an excellent speech. You have gone step by step, just explaining how to come out of worry, sir. Thank you so much. Dear friends, you have any questions? You can just raise your hands. Anybody having any questions? I think probably you are not having any worries. That's why no worries, no questions.
So you have to tell us what you're doing to have no worries. Good.
Yes.
So once again, I really thank you for all the new participants. You've started exploring your life. So keep pursuing, keep meditating. If I have to give one line, one piece of suggestion, keep meditating. Rest all will fall in place. Okay, keep meditating. வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
Yes, sir. Meditation is a very good medicine. Yes. It helps us to stop worrying. Why to worry when we cannot solve it? Why should we worry? And also when we can solve some things, why to worry, isn't it? Worry does nothing. So we need to be self-confident and also fear-free. That does wonders. This is what our Guru Vethathiri Maharishi says. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your excellent speech.
வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
Dear friends, thank you all for your presence today. Let us all meet again next Saturday with another interesting topic. And please do join daily. We have meditations, morning 6 a.m. sharp and evening 6:30 p.m. sharp Indian Standard Time. Even video of simplified physical exercises and Kayakalpa yoga is being played. Please do come and join us and enjoy the bliss. Thank you all. Be blessed by the divine. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. வாழ்க வளமுடன். Be blessed by the divine.